Want to speak real English from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at EnglishClass101.com.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about how to use the English preposition at. Let's get started. Okay, the first use of at I want to talk about in this lesson is using at with places and buildings. So we use at with places and buildings to express a place where something happens. Let's take a look at some examples of this. First, at the bank or at the supermarket. We can use at before typical places in our community. So you can use this with places that you go every week, every day, whatever. We use this to talk about our errands, like I'm at the bank right now, or I'm at the supermarket right now. Do you need anything? We use it in this way to talk about places in our community. You'll also commonly hear it used with at work to talk about being at your job. I'm at work right now, or I'm at work until this time. Another one you might hear is used in cases like this, like at the mountain or maybe at the river. So even though this is not like a building in the community, if it's a place that's known in your community, like I said, a mountain or maybe a river or some other natural feature that's near your town that everybody understands when you mention it, it's common to use this the before that place when you talk about being there. So for example, I'm snowboarding at the mountain today, or we're swimming at the river today. So you may hear this used for recreational activities, leisure activities. You might also hear it used in cases like these, at a party or at a concert. So in these cases, party and concert are not like physical places. They're not buildings and they're not like a place in the community, but they're events. So they're kind of like short-term gatherings, yeah? So we use at to talk about those. I'm at a party or I'm at a concert. The last one here is at home, another very, very common one. Please keep in mind we use at home to talk about something that is already at your home. So we don't use the expression at home when we're talking about going to or coming from our home. We could say, I'm at home right now, or I was at home last night when the storm began. So we use at home for things that are already in our home. Another couple points I want to make here. Maybe you've noticed I've used like the, in these cases. So when you use the, like at the bank or at the supermarket, it's for something in the conversation that is known. Same thing with like at the mountain or at the river. If there's a place that your family or your friends, whatever, in your like group of people that you regularly talk with, if everybody understands which bank you mean or which supermarket you mean, it's very common to use the. If you say I'm at a bank or I'm at a supermarket, it sounds like you're at a place that's new to everybody. Or if you say I'm at a mountain, it sounds like you're at a mountain the other person doesn't know about. That's why we use the in these cases. The reason is before party or concert is because maybe there's a chance the other person doesn't know which party you mean or which concert you mean. If you're talking to somebody in your friend group and they know about a party or some event that's happening on a certain day or a certain night, you might say, oh, I'm at the party right now. In that case, very natural, totally correct to say I'm at the party, or here I'm at the concert. That's also totally natural to use. So just keep in mind, if it's a place that the other person knows about, use the, or if it's a place you go in your community, use the. If it's something that the other person probably doesn't know about or it's new information, use a. One more point about places and buildings with at. We use in when it's important to express being inside a building or space. So lots of people ask, like, what's the difference between in or at? Like, should I use in the bank or in the supermarket or at the bank or at the supermarket? Is it correct? And the answer is sometimes it's correct, yes. So when people ask, like, should I use in with this or should I use at with this? It's up to you, it's up to the situation. So for example, with in the supermarket versus at the supermarket, if you want to express being inside the supermarket, if it's important to express that you are inside the supermarket, you can use in. I'm in the supermarket. So for example, if you want to meet someone at the supermarket and you go inside, you might contact them and say, hey, I'm in the supermarket right now. Please come meet me. So using in gives that feeling of being inside someplace. You can also use it in a situation like a party as well. Oh, I'm in the party right now, or I'm in a meeting right now is another thing you might hear. So you can take a look at the video I made about how to use the preposition in for more details about that. But please keep in mind we use in when we want to refer to being inside a space. Okay, so let's continue on then to the next group. The next way that we use at is with time expressions. We use at before a time of day. For example, at 2 p.m. or at 10:30. We can also use it before a word that refers to a time of day, like at noon. So noon means 12 o'clock, so 12 p.m. in the day. Or at midnight, so at 12 o'clock nighttime. At night is another expression we use. So we use at before these points in time, before these times of day, to express the time something happens or something happened in the past, or the time that something is going to happen. So for example, let's meet at 2 p.m. That's the schedule for the meeting in the future. Or we met at 2 p.m. So past activity. So we use time expressions with at to talk about like a schedule for something. A note about this point. People ask about other prepositions with time expressions. So the preposition in is used before a length of time, like 5 minutes or 2 hours or 3 years. This expresses duration, so how long something happened or how long it took to do something. So in and at have very different uses. The preposition by is also very commonly used before a time expression, but by is used before a point in time to express a deadline. So this is very different from at. When we say by 2 p.m., it means something is going to be finished by 2 p.m. Something has a deadline of 2 p.m. If we say at 2 p.m., it just means something is going to happen at that time. So please keep this in mind. This is a key difference between by and at. Okay, so let's continue on to the last group here. The last group is common expressions with at. So I've chosen a few that I hope are kind of helpful for you that you might not know the meaning of. Let's talk about this first one here then. At least, at least. So at least expresses something positive in a negative situation. So here's an example sentence. Oh no, I forgot my wallet. At least I have my phone. I can pay for things digitally. So we use at least when we want to show there's a bad situation, a negative situation, but we have this positive point inside it. So in this case, the negative situation is I forgot my wallet. But I want to express there's this other good thing, or there's some way that I can kind of save the situation, so I use at least to do that. At least I have my phone. That means I have this positive thing inside this bad situation that can help me in some way. So this is at least. Another very common expression with at is at first. At first means initially or in the beginning. So we commonly use this when we want to talk about our first idea maybe, or our first thought about something, and then we think about it, or after some point in time, we've changed our idea. So an example of this, at first, I thought I would vacation in Hawaii this summer. But then I realized how expensive tickets are and made different plans. So this is showing two ideas. At first, I thought thing A, but after some time, I decided to do thing B. So it's very common to present at first with a but then statement. So this is another very common way we use at. Two more. First one is at length. At length. This means for a long time. At length tends to sound a little bit more formal. We kind of use it in polite situations when we want to express for a long time. And sometimes for a long time can have a negative feel to it if we express like kind of negative feelings. At length can mean just that someone spoke for a long time, but it doesn't have always such a negative feel about it. So an example of this, the president spoke at length about the importance of work-life balance. The president spoke at length. So we could replace at length with for a very long time in the sentence, and it would still be correct. The president spoke for a very long time about the importance of work-life balance. But at length sounds a little bit more polite. It sounds a little more kind of professional than for a long time. Okay, the last one I included here is at once. At once. So at once is a kind of polite or formal expression, which means immediately or right away, right now. So we use this in like customer service situations. For example, we'll fix this error at once. We'll fix this error at once. That means right away. We'll fix this error immediately, right now. So you might hear at once used in these polite customer service related situations. So these are just a couple of expressions that I chose that I thought would be helpful to introduce. There are many, many expressions that use at. So please keep in mind, unfortunately, unlike this point and this point, there's not an easy rule for the meanings of at or knowing when to use at in these kinds of expressions. You can consider them kind of like vocabulary words to study or short phrases to study. So please keep this in mind as you are reading and listening. But I hope that this was a helpful introduction to how to use this preposition. And please take a look at the other preposition videos on the channel for more information about the other prepositions I mentioned in this lesson. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to practice making some example sentences with this information, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Also, if you like this lesson, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.